All right, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. This right here really, really, really annoys me. Okay, because this is the definition of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, which is basically a socio-psychological phenomenon in which, because you expect something to happen, you subconsciously do things so that that thing that you expect that's gonna happen will happen. Okay, and we're seeing schools across the country, particularly in Minneapolis, talk about closing in-person learning and moving to online in order to prepare for the outcome and the verdict of the Derek Chauvin / George Floyd trial. Okay, and not only that, you have the NBA, who last week moved 2 games because of what happened with the Dante Wright tragedy, right? And now they sent out emails saying, hey, we might move some games in anticipation for the verdict as well. Okay, and like I said, guys, this type of stuff is super, super, super annoying to me, right? One, when it comes to the schools, right? Why are you changing in-person learning because of this trial? What does this trial have to do with these kids being in school and learning? It has nothing to do with that. If anything, what you're doing is that you're saying, well, because Derek Chauvin may be acquitted, then, you know, there might be riots and protests. And if you know that to be the case, then why would you not want to have kids in school? If anything, you want kids to be in school so they're not paying attention to that stuff. They shouldn't be paying attention to it, right? Kids should not be actively thinking about what's happening with this trial. They should be in school, focus on learning how to read and write, right? Focus on their studies. That's what kids should be focused on. But when schools decide they're going to cancel in-person learning and move to online learning, which basically means they're canceling school, what you're doing is you're letting kids off the hook. You're saying, no, you should be paying attention to this. And again, some of these kids who may get emotional about the outcome may decide to go participate in these riots and protests. And then you're going to have young kids, young teenagers who otherwise should be in school, out in the streets, protesting and rioting for an outcome that they will not be able to change. Okay? If I'm a parent, right, I would be upset. I would be really mad. Because I would be like, what does that have to do with kids? This is grown folks' business. It really is. It really is. This is grown folks' business. What goes on with this trial? Okay? It should not be disrupting your sleep, your daily schedule, or how you go about your life, because no matter what the verdict is, it's not going to change your life. It's just not. It's just not. Whether you're an adult or a child, really. And that's what really blows my mind about people who want to show up to these protests. Like, what is it going to change? What are you actually changing? What are you actually doing? Right? You're not going to change the outcome. You're not bringing George Floyd back to life. The best thing that you can do to help yourself is to focus on gaining new skills, right? And improving yourself and learning. That's the best thing that you can do. That's the best thing that you can do. And I get it. You may be disappointed. But again, the only thing that you can do to improve your life and even your neighbors' lives and lives of those around you is to work on improving yourself. That's what it comes down to, right? In regards to the NBA, when are they going to learn their lesson, right? The NBA has been woke for so long, and it has led to a decline in the ratings because people don't want to watch woke basketball. They don't want to watch woke sports. But yet they keep trying to attach themselves to what's going on in politics unnecessarily. What is the point of canceling games? What is it going to change? Nothing. And wouldn't you want people to be watching the games during a time like this anyways, right? Sports is supposed to be an escape from all of the shittiness of life. That's what sports is supposed to be. Sports is supposed to be an escape. You sit down, you drink a beer, you watch the game, right? You talk about the game with your buddies. You're not worried about the outside world. You're not worried about politics. That's the role of sports. That's the role of the NBA. It's supposed to be entertainment. But when you decide that, you know what, we're going to not make kids go to school, and then when it comes to watching basketball and taking their mind off of the trial and what's going on, no, we're going to get rid of that too. Like I said, guys, self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy. If anything, you should have the games. You should be advertising the game more. You should be trying to get people's minds off of this stuff. Stop having people be so emotional about things that they're not going to be able to change. You know, I feel as bad as anybody else about what happened. Yeah, I think it was tragic, but I'm not losing any sleep over it. Okay? I'm not letting it affect me and how I go about my life. I'm not going to be out in the streets trying to protest over something that I know will not change. And I'm not saying that protesting is not a right or that people shouldn't protest to a certain extent. What I'm saying is that these protests at this point have turned violent. Okay? They turned violent. They're not doing anything. They're not resulting in any real policy changes, right? We can't even have a conversation about qualified immunity or stand your ground or the castle doctrine or any of those things that we really should be having conversations about, because everybody wants to focus on racism. So these protests and riots have become about racism. Racism doesn't have a solution, okay? Which means we're just going to keep having riots and protests about something that we cannot solve. We don't have a solution for. And then these, big corporations like the NBA and these schools, they feed into this by allowing kids to basically go to the protests. Basically saying, hey, you guys can get out of school, pay attention to what's going on, get emotional about it. But the only thing that's going to happen is that you're going to have kids be emotionally stressed out about this thing when really they should be worried about other things in their life that are actually going to be pertinent to them being successful, productive Americans. And it's funny because the best way for these kids that fight racism is to do well in school, right? Build up skills that are going to be valuable on the labor market so they can make high incomes and increase their net worths. And I guarantee you, to anybody, right, if you feel like you're experiencing racism, the best way for you to solve it is to stop worrying about it, worry about increasing your net worth, and I guarantee you racism won't be as big as a problem for you anymore. Okay, it won't be, right? That's what people need to focus on. These companies and these school districts that think that they're helping people and they're helping kids, they're not. You're making it worse. You're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Why is it we're at the point where if, something like this happens, a cop kills an unarmed black person, whether justified or not, oh, we got to cancel everything, shut everything down because people got to go out in the streets and demonstrate. This is ridiculous. We can't keep doing this, right? At some point, something has to give. And this is the problem with social media, guys. When people put these clips out on social media, because it spreads so fast, people get so emotional about something that really is not happening as much as they think it is. It seems like it's happening a lot more than it is because of social media. If you see one clip a day, it seems like it's a pandemic. Same thing with these mass shootings. When you look at the actual statistics, you're just like, oh no, this really is not happening that much. But again, this is a consequence of social media. This is a consequence of the media having to make money off of this stuff. Okay, well, they're going to keep putting it in your face and they're going to get you emotional. Stop allowing the media to make you emotional. Stop allowing the media to make you emotional. Especially, we should not allow our media to make our kids emotional. That's the worst part about this. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.